Hello guys, welcome back to Salesforce Anytime channel. Did you ever had a situation where you have created multiple flow versions on your maybe development environment or maybe on QA environment or some other environments, mostly because you wanted to try out different functionalities on a flow, and you were like successfully creating new features in the same flow, right? So if that happened with you, and apparently you happened to create multiple flow versions, for example 20, 30, right? In that case, you would end up in a situation that you have around 30 or 40 flow versions inside your dev environment, but most of those you're not going to use because you just tried few of the functionalities which did not work. That's why you created again new version of it, right? And that way you ended up with multiple flow versions. Like I'm showing here, I got 26 flow versions of this flow, and apparently I don't need other flow versions which I just did try myself before getting to the version 26, which is a working version of this flow. So in this case, what are my options to remove other 25 versions? So basically in Salesforce, what you can do is you can just simply go into the screen where it shows all of the flow versions for a given flow, and then once you see that, then you can actually delete each flow version by clicking on delete link here. So this is going to delete the flow version, which is 25. So let's see. So apparently it's going to delete my flow version one by one, but then if you see 25 version has been deleted. Now I am left with other 24 versions here to be removed, right? But in case I don't want to do this one by one, and mostly because you don't want to keep these versions inside your dev org, since they are not useful, and also because Salesforce has a maximum flow versions you can have inside your flow is 50 versions. So at one point you will consider removing all of the not used flows, right, from your flow which you are using. So in that case, how do you delete the multiple flow versions, right? So I'm going to show you an easiest option for you to delete these flow versions which are not being used. So you got to log into PackMagick's, which is an online tool. So I'm logging using my Salesforce credentials. So I'm using my developer edition org. That's why I am actually used production. In case you are using logging to the sandbox, just use a sandbox link there. So let me click on allow, and now let's go to delete flow versions feature. I'm just typing in to find it. So delete flow versions, and I know which flow I want to delete, which is account test get record ID. So this is the flow for which I want to delete the flow versions. Now you can see I can see 25 flow versions here, and I can also see what is the status of those flow versions. So apparently I got one flow version which is active. So Salesforce won't allow you to delete a flow version if it's active. It's going to error out. I'm not going to select that. And also in another situation, Salesforce is not going to allow you to delete any flow version if it's already being used inside any Salesforce components, or if you had any of the errors like fault failures or paused interviews, flow interviews for that flow. So in that case, you got to delete those fault errors first, and then you can remove the flow version for that particular flow. So I'm going to show you that also. After the fact, I can show you how you can delete the flow versions here. So I'm going to select flow versions 1 and 4 to delete, and let me click on delete selected flow versions. Let's see. So it has successfully deleted the components of the flow versions. So 1 and 4 has been gone, as you can see here. And if you want to see the detailed results, you can see here in the results section. So in case if it has any errors, it should display the errors in this result column here. So right now I got 1 and 4 removed. So let me also show you how you can basically delete a flow version which has any fault failures or failed flow interviews. So let me show you how the failed flow interview looks like. So if you go into the menu here, and if you type in failed flow paused and failed flow interviews, then you will see these flow interviews, which are basically failed flow interviews. If you want to see paused flow interviews, then you can see here, which are essentially screen flows if they are in paused mode. So which also you cannot delete if it's being referred here. And right now I want to show you how you can actually delete these failed flow interviews. So in case you have many failed flow interviews, it's going to be tough for you to go inside this and search for a particular flow for which the errors are there and delete those, right? Because if they are spread across time, then you might have to scroll through this window and go to next pages and then delete those. So for example, you can see this flow account test get record type ID. This has a version with version 3, it has some errors logged, right? So let me show you what happens if I try to delete the flow version 3 from PackMagix here. So let me go here and try to search the version 3. You can see here. So let me select that and try to click on delete selected flow versions. So what it has given me an error deleting components. Please check the result section. So if you see the result section, it will tell you that the flow version is referenced elsewhere in Salesforce. So remove any usage and try again. So first thing you got to see is if it has any errors in the flow errors. So let me again go to a different section in PackMagix. Let me duplicate this so I can actually check what are the flow errors. So if I select flow errors, and you got to select a date from which you want to see the flow errors. So mostly Salesforce would maintain the flow errors only for 45 days inside your org. So maybe you got to select sorry, not 45, it's going to be 14 days for which the flow errors would be kept inside your org. So in case worst case, you can just go back a month back and then select the date just to be sure you're not missing on those errors. And then you got to select the flow name for which you want to even if you don't select, it will display you all the errors if you don't select the flow name. But in case I know the flow name, so because that's what I want to delete, right? So I got to see now 33 errors on this flow version which I just saw in the Salesforce org. So I would need to delete these flow errors from Salesforce before I can actually continue deleting that flow version 3. So if I can actually go into Salesforce and delete them one by one, but again that's not going to be practical if I have many flow errors, right? So I'm going to select here all of these flow errors and then click on delete selected flow errors. Hopefully it's not going to give me an error. It's going to process and delete all of these errors. Yes, so you can see successfully deleted selected records. So I got all the flow errors removed from the flow version 3. Now let me go back to the previous page where I was trying to delete the flow version 3, which is here, and let me click again on delete selected flow versions. It's deleting. Yes, so it successfully deleted the flow version 3, and similarly I can remove other inactive flow versions which I probably don't need. For example, let's select only accept the active. Let me delete all of the flow versions. So I've selected I think 21 out of 22, so I'm just going to keep 26 as my current version inside the system and delete all other flow versions. Let me do that. Let's see if that works. Yes, it successfully deleted all of the inactive flow versions except the active one, which I need inside my org. And now I can see only one version. And if you go to Salesforce org and refresh this page, and then you can see only one version should be here. Let's see. Yep, so I got only 26 version here. So this is very easiest option for me to delete multiple flow versions if you got many while you are developing on a flow, and then that way you can maintain only the versions which are needed inside your org and remove any ones which are not needed. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please let me know if you have any feedback inside the comments area. Thank you. Bye.